Good morning again, and welcome to day 5 of our vlog series. Today we wanted to
Are you going to do the...
Oh! I'm Wayne.
And it's Jillian. That feels a little rehearsed.
Our signature, we'll have to practice that.
Yeah.
We've been having fun getting used to ourselves on video. And we wanted to share about our story. Mm-hmm. And let you in on that and try and be as candid as we can about how we came together and what's been in the history of our 5+ years together.
You start.
Oh, okay. I feel a little self-conscious. Well, I had a big life transition 8 years ago when I was done with Christianity. And I was drawn to something in Oregon that my business coach was a part of because it targeted emotional healing that I so felt Christianity didn't touch. Mm-hmm. And then, lo and behold, my business coach said he was going to be transferring me to another coach because he was leaving the company, and his manager would call, and her name was Jill. And I had this strangest sensation of, oh my God, there's a woman going to be calling me. I got her, and then I got her email, and it was like a kid watching porn or something. It was this weird reaction I had inside of me. Like, I got an email from a woman. And of course that felt strange to me, but it ended up being none other than you. And a lot of series of events that followed that, bringing no less than 3 attractions to you.
Well, don't skip over EBE, where we met, officially met.
Yeah. Several months later after that email, I was now becoming a part of a group in Oregon, which was about a 10-hour drive from where I was in Vancouver, Canada. Mm-hmm. And I was traveling once a month to be a part of this group called Emotional Body Enlightenment, and being a part of their emotional healing program, and deeply being drawn to that, and meeting you at the very first seminar I ever attended, and just some pleasant words exchanged, and oh yeah, I talked to you on the phone, and getting deeper into the work. It was about a year later that Jillian you had been in the work for about a year and a half longer than me, and you were now a facilitator of the work. And it ended up being that my facilitator wanted me to work with you to work some woman stuff.
Because you were attracted to me.
And I was attracted to you. And by that time, I'd already brought an attraction to you, and that felt like it was so tender and sweet.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Yeah. I feel maybe I'm skipping over stuff because of how sweet it was.
Yeah.
And how tender it was to feel, and how good it was.
And I just at that time wasn't ready, is how I feel it now, and I had more healing to do, and more relationships to be in, a couple relationships after that. But there was this fondness for you, Marvin at the time, and I facilitated you not too long, and then you brought another attraction. And then I said, oh no, I can't be your facilitator. This is the ground that you're wanting. And so we sort of then drifted apart for a year and a half or so, going our own separate ways and into other relationships. And I always, whenever I saw you at a seminar or anything, my heart would just be so warm toward you. And I just liked you so much. Yeah. You know, I always felt that. I always felt this deep and this draw to your connection with God too, and your soul history. So it wasn't very much tipping point to turn into attraction. I just wasn't ready until I was, which was about 4.5 years into EBE for me, and a few years after you brought the original attraction, and then, then it was like fireworks. Yeah.
And each one of those attractions was a huge movement and shift for me. I thought, wow, I'm plainly attracted to Jill. And my facilitator actually asked me at the seminar, he says, so were you attracted to anyone? And I thought, wow, damn it, how do you know that? Yeah, I was attracted to Jill. He said, well, are you going to bring it to her? And I thought, okay. And even though the feeling wasn't mutual, it was a really tender moment in Starbucks together. And I felt opened out. I felt moved on in my relationship with women, in my gender growth path.
There's something about the goodness of you that I couldn't digest at that time. Like my emotional body, this is what we offer people too, is that, you know, people especially who are in deep ache for a mate, you don't go out here and wonder where they are, go here. And that's what I needed. I just needed more healing, and I needed a couple not so great relationships too to bring up this emotional toxicity in me. And I always tell you that I'm glad we didn't get together before that process, because I think it just would have blown up. It was like I was minimally ready emotionally to respond to how much love and goodness is between us. It's like that love and goodness had to be here first. You know, I couldn't have looked for it out here. I feel like that's what a lot of people do, and certainly in our experience working with people. So really the mateship, I'm kind of doing a little teaching here in the middle of our story, but the teaching for me is that the mateship waited here. It waited for us till we were ready, because it was, in my sense, destined to unfold, but it waited for the mateship here to really deepen.
Yeah, that's so profoundly true, because I brought 3 attractions over 3 years, and each possibility was a very different one that could have manifested because of the stuff we were moving on the inside.
Right.
And I remember seeing you at a seminar and feeling, okay, by this time I'd brought 2 attractions, and I was now drawn to another woman, and seeing you was just a pleasant experience, and you looked great, and I took the opportunity to walk up to you, and I said, "Oh, nice tan." And there was this dance between us, but it seemed to be compartmentalized in a certain way. Like I'd kind of consciously said you were off my radar, or my attraction to you was, and bringing it was my process. And I so get what you were saying too about how the mate that we draw is very much a product of what's going on here. What's moved, what hasn't healed, is sending out your mateship call, a call into the solarium in which we all swim. And it isn't looking out here. The work that you do here will inevitably draw your mate to you, whether you're on a dating website or not, or heavily involved socially or not.
And when we get this sort of question from people about, well, how do I draw my soulmate? It's like the very first answer is mate with yourself. That's the only part, I say to people, that's the only part you have control of.
You can't really,
that's where your power is.
In another way, you can't really not draw your soulmate. The mate that you're with that feels really drab and boring, and how did I end up with such a dead relationship, is actually a draw of the soul, of the unresolved stuff of the soul of the individual. And life and your soul has brought you this mirror reflection of what you haven't healed or touched this life. And so people usually think something far more desirable when they say soulmate. But your soul has drawn your mates of the past, and will be drawing your mates in the future. And
that's right. And we also talk about growth mates versus stuck mates. And so you can have a soulmate relationship, have those frequencies, but then if there's a stuckness in it, in your emotional body here, it's just going to stick in what we call your usness, which is the third energy created when 2 people come together. So, do you want to tell any more of our story?
Yeah, I was just feeling, it was something that was unique about our story was our intensity about joining a group.
Yes.
Because something was floated
We were set on healing on ourselves, healing ourselves.
I encountered something through my business coach, helping me in my painting contracting business, that I knew he was also a part of something else, and I probed him a little bit about it. And when I learned just a few things, it was like, tell me more. Mm-hmm. Tell me more. Okay, the founder wrote a book. Please send it to me. And then it was a question of would I engage in active facilitation from that group. And it was so hitting me so hard. I was like, there's no way I could not. When I feel like I'm drowning in a river and someone throws me a lifeline, I'd be utter fool not to reach for it. That's how compelling it felt. But then that makes for a really deep involvement in a group.
Yes.
That others on the sideline.
It's oriented around a charismatic leader as well.
Yeah. And definitely people in our lives that see the sudden shift are wondering if we're not, gotten embedded in a cult. And that comes with the territory of joining anything in a sudden life shift kind of way.
With, all in joining.
Yeah, yeah.
And we could go on and on about the topic of groups and the tendencies, the cult-like tendencies and all of that. I do want to talk about that more in the series, but mostly in terms of our story, it just set up this dynamic where it was time to go. It was time to leave the group and alchemize our own thing. And I really feel how restless I was becoming. I was not able to alchemize anything in that group or that paradigm. I wasn't able to change anything. And I really need that creative process. That's real lifeblood for me and my soul. And coming together with Wayne, it woke up something around that in me, and the goodness and love that we had with each other. And that was felt in the group to be codependent and stuck. And, we'd only been together a few weeks. So the reaction to that was, no, I want to be with this man. I've been waiting for this man. I'm finally ready.
Yeah,
and the no was so clear. It was such a divine no. And so we left the group. It was really hard in leaving. Our friends the people I'd gotten really close to, especially me and my facilitator around, would no longer talk with me. So we went from this being connected to this group and this network to having nobody but each other. And a 3-week-old relationship.
Yeah. Oh, is this Coda?
I don't think he's actually in the frame, is he?
I bet he is. Hello. I was then, so 3 years I've been a part of this group for 3 years and you 4.5. And we were I felt catapulted into the group by my own choice.
Then catapulted out.
We were catapulted out by the spine in us that said, no, this is our truth, but we were actually kicked out as well. Divinely kicked out. It was the hardest thing I think I ever been through in my life.
Yeah. Really painful.
Really, really painful. Really felt screwed. Not screwed over, but screwed on the inside with, having such deep, deep, deep esteem for the founder and for key people within the work.
Yes.
But out of that pain, there was immediately a knowledge that we have gifts to offer, and we felt held by life.
I think I was creating my first offering, Sovereign Heart Healing, I called it, within 1 month.
Yes.
After leaving. So there was
had a website up.
There was so much desire for alchemy that just came out, like I was saying.
Yeah.
And it was really the loss, the heaviness of loss.
Well, if Coda's going to be in the picture, I guess he should be in the picture.
He's kind of been around the edges of these videos, but today I guess he wanted to say hello.
Hello. He's been a sweet part of our bond for an animal medicine.
Absolutely.
For the last 3.5 years. And
important.
So that was huge, getting life giving us the boot trajectory out of this group.
Right.
And then I moved to California to be with you and
we're running out of time.
Your daughter. And for a couple months, and then I got banned from the United States while attempting to cross the border with my long border history, and I got slapped with a ban for 5 years. It just expired a couple of months ago, in fact.
Yeah.
But that was like that was 8 or 9 months after our leaving the group. Banned from the U.S. where I was now living, and I hadn't sorted all my paperwork out. And then it was you coming to Canada.
Yeah, and my daughter was 14 at the time, so there's a decision to leave for a few months to establish in Canada, and then the hope that she would come move here, which she eventually did. But that was another catapult. It was like, wow, we drew a literal ban. Like, you could no longer go to the States. And then we had to adjust to that too. And we should probably wrap up. But I just want to say that I feel like this is what growth love does. You know, it changes your life.
Yep.
I say to people, if you start a relationship and nothing rumbles, nothing changes in your life, then it probably isn't a growth relationship yet. You know, you have more work to do here.
Well, I just got warmed up to the camera.
Well, I know, but
And the idea of sharing our story.
we'll have to do a part 2.
And then SoulFullHeart was born.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Two-
Almost
two-
exactly 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And prior to that was another
Another
offering
healing
called
offering.
Briva,
Right.
a word we coined.
Yeah.
And that was about a year-long prelude to SoulFullHeart. And again, thank you for watching. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for helping us co-create our next phases. Really invite you to connect with us as the desire. There's so much to connect with online and on these videos and our blog. Invite
And
you
our
to do
website
that.
too.
And when the time's right, please contact us personally.
Bye.
Bye for now.